Yo, welcome to the old house. So, still moving, so everything's like kind of like dusty. I don't know if you can. Let me see this camera. Yeah. Okay. Do a full rotation around, Yeah. Okay. So, thank you guys for 377 subs. Less than 3 weeks. Like, honestly, still lost for words on how to thank you guys on that. But, yeah, the moving process has been going. I got a new little tag for the car. As cliche as that is, but it's like today, I was just driving on the highway, and then, like, both people, like, the people from my right and my left were like, yo, rev it. So then, fucking revved it. But I think it's been a surreal feeling. Like, from, like, the first episode that I made, where I was, like, really camera shy and, like, was honestly, like, debating on deleting that video, right? Because I was like, oh, like, if I post this, like, is it good? Like, does the setup have to be good? Does it all have to be, like, is the lighting all right? But in the end, it's like, just do it. Just do it. Forget, So, like, I posted it without any, like, expectation, right? And going into life, I think that's the best way that you can outtake your life, right? Without any expectation, just do it. Just go achieve it. Go try to achieve it, right? Because I think one good saying that I always follow by is, aim for the moon, hit the stars, right? Even though you didn't hit that one goal that you had in mind, you were still way further than if you set the actual, like, let's say you set your goal a little lower than you should have, right? If you aim high, you might already hit that goal that you set prior. So if you think about it that way, I think that's also good. But I read a quote today. That's why I was also wanted to make this video as well. So besides moving stuff from my old house, but I was like, a cool little break. But it's, think about what you're doing right now. Is it gonna hurt your future, or is it just purely for fun, right? Or is what you're doing right now so-called enjoying your life, or actually hurting your future, right? Because the habits that you exhibit now, like the working out, reading a book, career building, saving money, building a business, like it all collides in your 30s, 40s, 50s, right? Right now in your 20s, if this is for any 16, 18-year-old that doesn't really know what they're going to do with their lives, that's okay. At 18, bro, I was playing Borderlands 2 in my basement. Like, come on, man. Like, I honestly didn't really have a trajectory at the time. But if you're watching this early and you're 16 to 18, then kudos, If you have that drive to want to do something, try it, man. Try it. Start small. You don't have to go crazy, like, because the funds aren't there, the knowledge isn't there. So, like, if the funds aren't there, I would highly recommend, like, upping your knowledge, upping your physique, like things that are attainable for you currently, right? And those will shape you. And the saying does go, the gym won't take you to where all those people that have the cars and all that nice stuff goes, right? Unless you're an influencer, right? It takes you far, but you have to just pull out that one key component from going to the gym consistently always. It's the consistency, it's the discipline, and it's honestly like the consistent hard work that you're putting in, right? Day in, day out, how do people have nice looking bodies, right? It's either you either take drugs to get there, or you consistently work day in and day out, right? And in anything, there are no real shortcuts, man. There are really no shortcuts in life. So I didn't have any of this like 2 years ago, and COVID time, I was in real debate of like, dang, like, if this could happen to a global pandemic where you're like, you're out of a job, you're out of, there's nothing to do. You're completely bored, right? And that's when it finally hit me, man. I was like, what am I going to do for the rest of my life? I think that's when I had my, like, aha moment, or more like a midlife crisis before I had my midlife crisis, right? it was like it's just a moment where I'm like, damn, like there's no gym, there's no food, like there's no going out to eat, hanging out with friends. You're literally just either at home, sleeping, eating, hopping on Discord with the boys, stuff like that, right? But that's when it finally hit me to like, you got to look out for yourself, man. Like these big companies or, the person that you're working for and above, when it comes time, they're not going to care. Like they're honestly not going to care. So same thing with the gym. No one's going to really care about your physique. No one's going to really care about the progress that you do. Like they'll support you, yes, but it all comes down to you, on the days that you don't feel like doing it, you don't really want to do it, or you just lack motivation. That's where discipline comes in. No amount of motivation will ever keep you going. Like you'll have a burnout moment. You'll have a burnout day. Like there are just days where there is no motivation, but you just have to do it. Same thing for like YouTube or anything, right? Like if I got burnt out and didn't post until like the next year and was like, hey guys, like here I am like a year later. It's like, it's on you. Like, cause then you wonder like, oh, why didn't I grow on YouTube as I thought I did, or this and that, right? It's all depends on your consistency and the amount of actual care that you give about yourself, right? And your goals are yours alone. So if you're able to muster through that and discipline yourself. So that's why I said like the gym or getting yourself more knowledgeable is key, right? If you have the knowledge and the skill set, you can actually start putting into practice once the funds come in or once you have enough that you've saved up that you can go do it. And the same thing with physique, right? Usually people that, when you're more in shape, you know how to meal prep, you know how to you have a consistent schedule, a routine, a pattern, right? A routine, a pattern that you can consistently follow. If you can learn that, you can take that to the business realm, you can take that to career climbing. You can technically gamify it. Like that's why I feel like all gamers that they game, if you can gamify life, you're more inclined to do things, right? If you can gamify like, okay, I made my first sale, think of it like your first win, your first completed game, your first trophy, like in game, like if you can gamify it that way, you have that positive reinforcement that lets you get more things done in real life. So whether it be like, I saved up to my first 1,000, I started my first business, I finally started learning about, taxes, all that other stuff, right? Buying a house, what it takes, an FHA loan, talking to a new person, like that could be, a plus one that now you learn with somebody, right? And the one thing that you follow from that is your net worth. Your net worth is your network, right? The more networking you do, the more people you know. And then later on, that's why that's what the saying goes around. It's not what you know, it's who you know, right? If you know people, you can be in certain positions. And I always love networking with people, right? And one time I had a meeting with my TikTok friend that has well over 300K followers on TikTok now, but even he came to me to so we can connect and talk, and that it brightened my horizon to maybe try TikTok in the future once these videos get figured out, and then I can finally post some shorts, because I have an editor now, so he'll probably start working on some of the work that I have for the creative side. But for the most part, I think I'm still going to keep most of these raw videos, since people just love hearing me it's like a type of podcast type of thing where you would just talk about my life and stuff. But I think with the direction of that, me and him have had that conversation. He had all the followers, all the likes and stuff on TikTok. All he had to do was really push it, man. Step out of his comfort zone. And so he did. He moved, and now he started mentorship as I did for FBA, right? Well, he's not doing FBA for mentorship, but he's doing TikTok for mentorship, right? And it's the same thing, bro. You got to capitalize, and he's horizontally growing, right? He's now using his TikTok, leveraging it, posting it on socials, and then teaching people, right? And that adjacently connects to his main skill. It connects all of that, which positively benefits that one skill. And then next, I hope he does YouTube. I hope he expands and makes his personal brand and expands out, right? All kudos to him. And that was like a cool, good conversation to have. Like just sitting there and being like, dang, like we're of two different business models or like fields, but we still can come together for the common ground. Like you have the discipline to keep posting. You grew because you were disciplined enough to keep posting on TikTok to grow that following. Like I'm pretty sure if he's watching this, when you first started your first video, bro, did you really think you were gonna have 10 million likes, 300,000 followers in the future like that, right? Like it's just the consistency and not the expectation of anything. Like if you don't expect things and you just do it, eventually it will just come. Like the more you do, the better you get. The more consistent you are, the more likely that when an opportunity comes, that's when luck connects together. And then boom, like you basically, that one shot that you've been saving up for, waiting for, it finally hit, right? It's the same thing as like getting your first win in any game, like Fortnite, like Warzone. If you keep trying, you get better. Like that's just what I'm saying. Like if you can gamify things, you're more likely to get it done. Like, okay, like I want to lose 5 pounds. So you work your way up. You mathematically give yourself 3 months and you work your way up. Like, okay, I lost a pound. That's 1 out of 5. That's 20% done. But vice versa. Let's say like right now I'm doing positive reinforcement, right? You also have to think like your head's going to be doubtful or negative. So let's say you miss 1 day of the gym, right? 1 out of 7, that's still a passing grade. But then if you zoom out, 1 out of 30, that's an A plus, right? You're still passing. So I think the lesson that you can learn there is to just keep going. Like I'm 24. I still don't have things figured out, but for the most part, like you have to keep learning. Because if you don't, you just kind of live your day to day and you get complacent, right? When people say, complacency kills, it really does. Like when you get really comfortable and you don't want to do anything anymore because you're just satisfied where you're at, then kudos, right? If you're truly happy, then kudos. If you're not, like please get up and chase your dreams. Truly. And I've had people complain to me, like they come to me and say, oh, I wish I was in your shoes. I wish I did this. I wish I did that. Then go do it, bro. Like, don't be a me. Like, be your own person, right? I don't really like it when they're like, bro, I wish I could be like you. You don't want to be like me, bro. I rather you be your own person, achieve those goals that you want to do, and chase your dreams, man. Because at the end of the day, again, we have one life. One. And I don't know where I'll go after this, right? Like we all eventually have an expiration date. And I don't know when mine will be, right? But I live mine every single day grateful for where I'm at. Like being able to give my parents a new home, being able to get my dream car at this age, being able to travel wherever I wanted to, right? It's like a crazy feeling because I didn't think I was going to be like this when I was 20. Like, I was like, I'm probably going to work my CS job. So, I did graduate, so I can tell you, like, I've really done it all. Like, I did a bodybuilding competition. I've graduated. I've started a business. So, I've worked the 9 to 5. I know how it feels. Like, it was a good paying job. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, 100K plus salary, right? But the thing there is, if you're truly happy with it, like back to what I was saying before, then kudos, keep working it. But ultimately, you have to honestly choose your mental health over money. Like no amount of money that they're gonna give you or whatever is gonna make you happy. Because once you finally feel burnt out, it doesn't matter what goals or whatever you have in mind at this point. You're mentally burnt out, so your mind is always like in this sad like pessimistic state. Like, am I always going to be doing this for the next 40 years? Like, is this even worth it anymore? Like, when you get a raise, you don't spark excitement anymore. So you have to find like periods that you can take the break or like a little mental reset. Like for me, I take a mental reset. I hang out with family every now and then, like a day or two. I hang out with my girlfriend. I go on, like literally in November, I'm going with my friends in Japan, I had to move it. I was supposed to go in October, but moved it to November, and I'm going to hang out with them, right? that's the thing. Like, you have to be able to find balance between everything, because if you're too much of one side, the scale tips. And that's the same thing in anything that you do in life. You eat too much, you gain too much weight. You don't eat enough, you lose weight, And you don't sleep enough, you yawn all the time. You oversleep and you get a headache, right? There has to be like a fine tune that you go into life. Like business, you can go ham, Armstrong, but then also at the same time, you no longer have the passion for that business. Or let's say you put too little work into it. That means, you're not going to see much growth from your business, which also doesn't really drive you to do anything with it, right? But if you find that fine tune that you're doing the work, but also not like doing too much, so like you find that little like medium, just right, you can start seeing progress, but also not feel burnt out from it. Like, your passion can still be your passion. So yeah, I'll probably get back to clean the house. But I think it was cool, like, little yapping episode. I just had before I forget. Also, that's the thing. Write it down and do it, right? And I just had that spark to inspire the youth. So I'll be logging out now. Peace, y'all.